Good afternoon. I was just sitting here reading my list of things to talk about today. We are finishing up some big ideas and big projects this week. So BLABFEST won't be really long because the things that are in it are fairly big and time consuming. So I know that this is airing on the Friday, Black Friday after Thanksgiving. So many of you will watch it later on, not right this second, because I can't compete with all the savings at the stores and all the shopping that people do. I will not be doing that. I will be starting the next project and enjoying the peace and quiet. So we just finished this patriotic series quilt. Well, you can see part of it here behind me, and it looks good. In the comments below the video, there is the pattern in its entirety, and if you click on it, download it, it is a free printable PDF, and it has, I think, 15 pages, but it has all the patterns in it. You may still need to go back and watch some of the videos to assemble it, because I didn't write out all the steps. Each set of directions is 1 page, is what I was aiming for. So it is all there to share with you. Some people have been sharing pictures. Marion, thank you very much. Marion sent me a picture of a flag block and a Road to the White House block. I love the fabrics that she has been using. They are looking good. And I know that some people like to wait until they see how things turn out. I understand that. I've done that a lot in my past, printing off the pattern each week. And then when I got to the end, I was thrilled to put something together. So I understand, but you can send those pictures of your project to me anytime, because YouTube doesn't go away or date things. It'll hang out there forever. Just saying. So, Marion, thank you very much for sharing pictures. Now, I want to talk very quickly about the next quilt that is coming up. Originally, I wanted to do it as sort of like a book study, because there are a few things in this world that I always wanted children to do. I wanted them to be able to do fractions in math, and I wanted them to, 32 years of this, and I wanted them to be able to read, because if you have math skills and reading skills, you can do anything you want. So for 32 years, I convinced 4th and 5th graders that they could read. And once I had them convinced, then the rest was easy, and the work was easy for them. So now I need to convince you that you should play along. You've seen that I can design things, and I won't let you down. So please play along in the next project, A Study in Scarlet. Anyway, that brings me back to I love reading, so I thought maybe we could do it as a play along. You read a chapter, and then we would make some blocks to go with it. And my original idea was with an Agatha Christie book, because quilters seem to love mysteries. So I started looking into that, because I knew her books were older books, and there's a lot of things based on her books. A lot of TV shows and all kinds of things. So I started to look into it, and I discovered that there is an Agatha Christie Foundation, and they will let you use things for educational purposes, but I wasn't sure that writing a quilt pattern was enough of an educational purpose that I wouldn't end up owing royalties to the Agatha Christie Foundation. So when I told my son about it, he was like, why don't you use a book that is in the public domain that anybody can use? So I Googled public domain books, came up with a big long list, and it was reading a lot like high school English class. And I was, oh, no. And I came to Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And his last book, just I think in January of this past year, went into public domain. So all of his works are now public domain. And we all love a mystery. And he is like the original mystery man. The books are well written. I will say that Sherlock Holmes is a bit conceited, just a bit, but his character is well written. So then I had the thought, well, if you read it, you won't be sewing, you'll be reading. So I decided to make, I can't really call them podcasts, they kind of are, but they're not, of recordings of the chapters. My husband and I read together a couple nights every week. And so I decided that was one of the things I loved about teaching was story time. So I decided I missed that so much that I would have story time with you and I would read it to you, each chapter, so that you could sew while you read. I'm sure several of you listen to books on CD or tape or from Prime online because they're available. So I made my version, and I'm sure that there are many other versions of the Sherlock Holmes books out there. If you would rather listen to those, that's okay. I am not offended. So my book is, or my quilt, The Study in Scarlet, is the first of the Sherlock Holmes books by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It really hit home. I was kicking the idea around, and we happened to go into Vinnie's of all places, and I found this piece of red fabric. Now the piece that is left that I haven't used or cut any out of is 4 yards. So, and it was a bargain. So I bought the fabric and I took it home and I started taking notes, writing things down, and getting ready to make a Study in Scarlet quilt. It took me about 2 months to get this far, and the blocks are not all made yet, but they are all cut out. I have block kits right here, and they are all labeled and ready to go. I have the extra fabric that I used in a project box because I never know what I might want to put on the back or add as extra or maybe even switch out. So I keep the extras until I am done. Here it all is. So I learned how to use my EQ8 to make a custom block layout. That took some research and some practice because I have had that program for years, but I only did like straight sets. I never did custom sets. So that was a challenge. So I made the quilt, and I had to draft a lot of those blocks too because they were not ones that were in the limited EQ8 library. So I learned how to draft blocks for this project. I learned how to do colorways so that I could make you a color sheet. I hope you get your colored pencils ready. I love making color sheets that you can print out and then color however you want. So that is ready for you too. I am going to show you the way I colored it. Now you can color it any way you want. You could even take out the scarlet if you really don't like red. You could call it my study in teal that should be scarlet. I don't care. It's your quilt, your project. So on the first of every month for 14 months, I am going to open up the audio recording of a chapter because there are 14 chapters. And then on the block Wednesdays, I will work with you on blocks. Now, I hear people panicking out there. There is not a block for every Wednesday during that time. Sometimes it will be time to look at the color balance. It will be time to share blocks that people have made if people are participating and sending me blocks. It will be time to do an extra setting block if you want. Some blocks are bigger and have lots of pieces, so one of the blocks I make over a period of the entire month. I do the flying geese one week, I do the half square triangles another week, that kind of thing, so that anybody, even if you are working full-time and you are very busy, you will be able to keep up, because I have built time into the calendar just for that purpose. On December 1st, Chapter 1, Part 1 of Sherlock Holmes, A Study in Scarlet, will be available. That is a Sunday, so if you have the little bell there, then you will be notified that a new video has appeared. Well, it isn't a video, that is the podcast, and it will look like this most of the way through. There aren't visuals, it's just the title on your screen as it plays in the background, so that you can listen to it while you sew. On Wednesday, I will talk about choosing colors and how I approached it. I know that some people do it differently, and we'll talk about that too. So Wednesday will be all about choosing colors and fabrics for the quilt, A Study in Scarlet. But keep in mind, it all started with this red piece of fabric. And red is not my favorite color. It was a very challenging thing to work in enough red so that I could call it A Study in Scarlet. And when we get to chapter 4 or 5, you will see why I decided to make it straight lines through the quilt. I hope that you are as excited about this big project as I am, and I hope that you have time to make parts or pieces or the whole quilt. Please share with me. I love to see your work. It is so inspiring to look at other people's hard work too. I hope you have enjoyed our BLABFEST for this Friday. Thank you again, Marion, for sharing your blocks. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you back on Monday for, I believe it is something to do with snaps as an embellishment. See you later. Have a great weekend. Remember to like and subscribe.